Well, it's almost 7:30. Every morning has had quite a bit of fog on the lake, but it is clearing up right now. Just lovely though, so quiet. So I don't know how well this shows up on film. Do you see all those little white spots all across the floor? Wow. Those are all spiders who've laid webs overnight. Well, they've probably been there. Just with the dew of the morning, you can really see them. They are just everywhere. Ugh, better zip up that hammock really tight. Well, these are ground-dwelling spiders, so that's okay. Pretty cool, though. Made for a little bit of a difficult path walking around this morning. I didn't want to step on them. Good morning. It is 9 o'clock, and I have gotten up again out of bed. I was up earlier, got up, took some pictures, checked it out, decided I would crawl back to bed and do some reading. But I've gotten up again, and the fog is still on the water. In fact, it got foggier, I think. But in the last 5-10 minutes, it's starting to evaporate because the sun is finally coming out. So I don't know if you can see, it is still pretty clouded over way down at the end of the lake right now. And on the other side, it is even more foggy. The day looks like it's going to promise to be absolutely spectacular again. So I think I'm going to swim. Then I might eat something and read. Then I might swim again. And then I might go swimming. That's pretty much it. Hi, so I did manage to get a couple chores done today. I did go and fill up on some water. I actually like to go out into the lake, especially when I'm on an island campsite. I prefer to get my water away from the actual shoreline around the lake, or the island particularly, because the water quality is not great around islands. Just a heads up. Think of it, there's a toilet on the island that's been there forever. So it's better to go further out. So I did go and get that, and I also went and searched out some wood. So I've got wood for a fire tonight. There's lots of it there. The only thing is, it was really hard to find a good selection of wood. This, I assume this is a very popular lake, and the shoreline's really picked clean. I often get out of my canoe and look slightly in behind the bushes for my wood, and even that was really hard to find. So no larger pieces at all. I like to see if I can saw off, you know, some 3, 4, even 5-inch pieces sometimes, but couldn't find anything. And I also pilfered a grate for the fireplace because this particular spot didn't have a grate, and I need one tonight. So sorry, I took it from another campsite, but that's okay. Well, I'm done my chores. Time for a swim. Hi. Well, I've had a very relaxing day. Was needed. I've got a nice fire going right now, and it works really well off the rock. The heat that radiates back off that rock is just amazing. Hot, hot, hot. So I'm just getting a few coals going. I'm hoping to bake a carrot muffin. Hope it doesn't burn. I have burnt them before, but not all the time, so hopefully this one works. Sometimes they come out beautifully, sometimes not so well, but we're going to try it. I may save it for tomorrow as a treat, because I have another long day tomorrow. I actually, for some reason, I thought the whole trip, oh, I only have one portage out on the last day, but it's actually 3 of them. Or 2 of them. No, 3 of them. And one is 1,300, so still quite a bit of portaging to get out tomorrow, but one of the easier days of portaging. Today was great, having a rest day. I did nothing. I really took very little in the way of pictures or did anything except read and swim and have something to eat and relax. So it was great. I've got a little bit of a bug. and I'm wondering if it's beaver fever. But it started hitting me today, and I'm like, oh, this is not boding well for tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be okay tomorrow. We'll see, but I'm feeling a little under the weather, so we'll see how it goes. But I am missing my family and my husband. I know he thinks I don't miss him when I'm out here, but I actually do. And I'm really looking forward to getting back home. And well, it's been a great trip. Tomorrow I leave, and I'm ending with another fabulous sunset. Good night, Algonquin. So what I did first is I melted a little bit of butter in my little baking pan, and I put a little bit of the cake mix in there too, just to kind of coat the pan. And then I mixed the mix just with water and a little bit of oil in a bag, and now I'm going to pour it in, and I'll show you how I'm going to cook it. So the next thing I do is I take my pot, and I actually put, you can see it there, some stones on the bottom of it. And I slip my baking pan in on top of the stones. Then I'm going to put it on the grill. I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to put a rock over top of the lid or against it to hold it in place. And I'm going to let it bake. And this will make an oven. Well, it smells pretty darn good, and it looks good too. Took the lid off at one point, and I think I interfered with the baking. But all in all, not too bad. I think I'm going to enjoy half of that, and then save the other half for tomorrow. Yummy. Look at that too. Came clean away from the pan, and it's cooked through. But it's nice and moist. Delicious. Oh, it's a sweet treat at the end of this trip. Well, it's 7 a.m. I set my alarm for 6, but I went back to sleep. I kept hitting the snooze. The wind's been blowing for quite a while, for a couple hours now. Woke me up at 4 a.m. and I got up just to check on my canoe. I hadn't tied it down. I want to make sure everything was all right. But yeah, it's quite a wind blowing. So hopefully that doesn't give me too much trouble getting across the lake today. But it's time to get up, pack it up, and get home. Well, it's 8:20 now. I've made a final check of the campsite to make sure I haven't left anything behind. Also left some firewood for the next guys. So the wind's gusting a little bit. I'm going to stay close to shore, and hopefully it won't take too long to get to the next portage. 1,300 meters. Here I come. Well, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a nest up there. It is hawk or eagle? I'm not sure. It looks like a bald eagle. I see white on the head. But I'm not sure if that is a bald eagle cry. I think it is. And that's why it's crying. It's like, get out of here. So I'm going to give a wide berth. I don't feel like this. I want to have this bird nosediving me because it is definitely up there on a nest. Hi, well, it is 10 o'clock. Made it down here. The wind is really strong down this way, lots of waves. I basically rode waves all the way in. Thankfully, the wind was at my back, and that is very rare for me. I always tend to leave trips against the wind. So again, you know, thank you, Mother Nature. Thank you, Lord above, because I'd much rather this kind of day with the wind at my back than this kind of day and fighting it all the way home. Met a lovely group of 3, party from Quebec. Very nice people that I chatted with. So they're staying down here and just starting their trip. So I'm at the Amable de Fond, about to put in, and I'm in a bit of a dilemma. So I just found some gear that was left here. Now that's a rental. I think this flotation device is privately owned. And a cooler. And it looks like there's some cool water and some food in it. I'm thinking it belongs to the party of 3 that were down at the beach on Manitou. But I don't feel like running it all down there and coming back. What if it isn't theirs? I'm thinking it probably is, though. So, what to do? I'm thinking they should come down when they realize they don't have their flotation devices with them and get in the water. They're all camped out. Their gear's all open and everything. I'm hoping they'll come back to get their flotation devices if it indeed belongs to them. But what if they don't realize that till tomorrow? I don't really want to leave the cooler out here either. And what if it isn't theirs? I don't want to leave the cooler out here. So I think I'm going to leave the flotation devices. Those are important. If it belongs to them, I want to make sure they have the opportunity to come back and get them. Because they'll realize it as soon as they go to get in the canoe and they're getting all their gear and it's get this, get that. I think they'll realize. But it could have been somebody putting in here and leaving and going the other direction. I don't know. But because there's food in here, I think I'm going to pack it out and I'll leave it at the office and just turn it in. But I'm going to leave the flotation devices. Hopefully it's the right decision. So this is rushing in from Manitou into the Amable de Fond River. Lovely. Makes me want to jump in and swim. Not accidentally though. Oh my God, I just did my first class 1 rapid. I didn't know there was a little bit, just a little bit of a bump back there. But all good. Took a line and I went. Hi, so it is noon and I'm at the takeout to the next portage. I did the Amable de Fond back in July. I went in at Round Lake through the Amable de Fond into North T and down into Bigger Lake. And it was quite a different experience than this portion of the same river. It's much narrower, very shallow. Certainly was very shallow at the time, very slow moving, but a lovely, lovely scenic paddle. This is equally as scenic, much shorter portion of it, but it is much deeper. My paddle wouldn't even touch bottom for much of it, and it's quite fast moving. There's some fantastic rapids down over here. I know I can hear them pounding away. I imagine in spring they must be really spectacular. And I was pleased to say that I successfully managed to get through my first set of rapids ever, although they were just tiny little rapids, but I still did it. So now I can say I've done whitewater. So it wouldn't be a portage on this trip unless there was a service road to cross and another bridge over it. But absolutely spectacular! So along the portage, you come across two campsites. This one includes a put-in to the water, so you can paddle along the Amable to Fond, and the campsite's down this way off the portage. So it's actually pretty private, as the portage is there and there. So absolutely spectacular place to stay, actually. I'm not fond of staying on portages, but I could see this campsite. It's quite well removed from the portage. If you're doing it off season, it would be lovely to stay on this river. Spectacular. And particularly if you love white noise, you get a lot of that here. And that's it. Portaging all complete. I'm gonna have a little snack. It's a great place to just relax here. The white noise from the rapids coming down is just beautiful. Went in and just kind of sponged myself off to cool off. The water's fabulous. Met a lovely couple that are just heading in for a week. They have to be in their 80s. God bless them. Gives me hope that I may be able to do this for a long time to come. But I will say they both looked incredibly fit. God bless them. Well, it's 2 o'clock. I made pretty good time considering I double carried almost the entire thing. I took the first portage, tried to single carry it. I got about halfway and then decided, nah, I'm done. It was causing some problems anyway, so that's fine. I'm going to try and rig something up at home. I will try it again. It wouldn't be bad to do on shorter portages, and only on trips where I'm doing a lot of portaging. But I'd really have to make sure that my weight was down to an absolute minimum. But I didn't mind the double carries. The walk back is relaxing. I've always loved being on the water. That's the part of my trip that I love the most. And I spend a lot of this trip, being on portages. And the good thing about that was I got to see the beauty of the portages. I took a lot of pictures of mushrooms, but it made me stop and look at some of the really beautiful things that are on the portages that I forget to look at because I'm busy getting from one lake to another. So I did enjoy that. I'm often asked why I do this. And it's kind of a difficult question to answer. I'm not even sure exactly why I do it. I think there's a couple reasons. One is the challenge. It is really, I would say, the most emotionally, psychologically, spiritually challenging things I've ever done. It can also be physically challenging, as this was. But it's really the deeper challenge. Being on your own, only relying on yourself, solving all your own problems, and just being alone with you. And that is a very hard thing to do for a lot of people. And I get that. It takes some getting used to. I won't lie. It wasn't something that I found really natural at first. I'm always trying to find something around the camp to do. It's been a lesson to learn how to just sit and not worry about doing anything, and just sit and be quiet. But it's a good lesson. It's not for everyone. I would encourage anybody interested in trying it. It's great to try small, start off small and work your way up. But nobody has to do this. For me, this was the challenge I wanted. Everybody has to find their own challenge. You just have to discover yours. So I'm almost to Kiosk Campground, across the greater body of the lake. There's a lot of chop on it. Wind was at my back, but yeah, kept me busy. The waves were riding pretty high underneath me. So I'll be glad to get back to the car, but the Gorilla Tape is holding up really, really well. Woohoo! So I just turned the cooler in at the office here, and it does not belong to the 3 people that are staying at Manitou. So I'm so glad that I didn't go running all the way back there and then back again to let them know I'd found this cooler. Was it theirs? The party who it does belong to has left word, and the park office manager has a note from them, so they'll be contacting them to let them know that they've found it. I hope they don't mind that I ate some of their Pringles chips. Okay, well that's a wrap. Now to find a Tim Hortons.